Hi guys, today it is chapter 14 of our class book, The Girl Who Stole an Elephant, written by Nazinda Farouk and published by Nosy Crow. I hope you enjoy it. Chapter 14. Jazz slammed Chaya against the wall, a sharp pain slicing through her head as it hit the stone. His hands closed around her neck. "Hey, what?" Chaya's words were cut off as his hands tightened around her throat. She kicked and clawed at the man, but his grip only intensified. She had to do something, or she was going to be of no use to Neil. The world edged into black. Then Chaya slammed onto the ground, where she was roughly shaken. A dark face swam into view. What was happening? Had Jazz changed his mind? Chaya blinked and someone yanked her back onto her feet. "Chaya, focus! We need to get out." It wasn't Jazz. It was Neil. Neil's blurry face hovered in front of her. Chaya swallowed down nausea as the view slowly solidified. Jazz laid on the floor, blocking the whole passageway. "Don't worry," said Neil. "He's coming to already. He'll be fine." Chaya shook her groggy head. "Neil, how on earth?" "The tools you brought me, Chaya. I was sawing all last night. I managed to get out just in time." Chaya whooped. Things were back on track again. The bunched keys were on the floor and she kicked them under the bars to the toothless man in the first cell. "There you go, a gift from us to you. Let's go, Neil." They darted into the hall and started up the stairs. And that is when they saw them. Everyone, and it did look like every single one of the guards, had returned and were staring at Chaya and Neil with undisguised anger. Chaya felt pressed in on all sides as the guards surrounded her and Neil. She was swept up in the throng, half dragged, half carried up the stairs and out of the underground prison. On the edge of her vision, Neil was being taken away too. She blinked in the sudden daylight. "Where are you taking us?" "Straight to General Siri. Let's see if you two can try and get out of this one," said the man. "You and your friend can both lose your heads." On the promenade, more guards joined the dozens already surrounding the children, pushing them towards the palace. There was a shout from somewhere above, and Chaya felt a shock ripple through the swarm of guards. "Hey!" came a familiar voice. A figure stood high up on the steps leading to the inner palace, silhouetted against the giant lion statue. A figure in a floaty red dress. "Hey, fools! Look behind you!" yelled Nur. The throng turned round and the guards went crazy. There were shouts of dismay as they shot off, back the way they'd come. Chaya stood on tiptoe to try and see over the top of the people. What was going on? All of the prisoners had escaped and were currently making their way to freedom. The toothless man from the first cell was at the front and was running away merrily. Chaya slipped out of her guard's grasp while he was easily distracted. She tried to grab her by the plait, but she twisted away from him and ran. Someone struck out their foot and sent her flying until she landed with a thwack on the ground, hands outstretched. Another guard brought his foot down over her head, but she whipped it away just in time and bounded up, sprinting between two other men coming her way. She could see Neil up ahead, also free and also running. He slowed down to let her catch up. "No! Go, Neil!" shouted Chaya. I'll meet you at the jambu tree." Neil sped off. A young guard pulled at her, but she kicked him away. Two of the king's men began to head towards her. Chaya changed direction, zigzagging through the formal gardens. One of them was gaining on her. He ran up and caught the edge of her skirt. She plucked it away and turned the corner. A small flight of steps led downwards. Chaya missed her footing and slipped, and went crashing down the steps. She landed in a heap at the very bottom. Pain shot through her ankle and she screamed. She bit down on her fist and crawled into a bush of coral flames. "She's here somewhere, she has to be." There was a sound of thrashing leaves as the men searched through the foliage. Chaya inched her way slowly through the shrubbery. She circled her ankle with her hand, and the warmth soothed the pain a little, but she couldn't put any weight on it. She'd just have to crawl. How on earth would she get to Neil and the jambu tree? There was a shout of triumph. "Look, she's dropped something! A box of matches! It was her then! Wait till I tell General Suri." Chaya dragged herself towards the walled garden. It was at the back of the palace complex and removed from all the action. So quiet and still. She had to bite painfully on her lip to keep herself crying out every time she moved. It was finished. She was finished. Even if by some miracle she got out of the royal palace safely, she couldn't possibly get to the jambu tree where Neil would be waiting for her. But at least he wasn't in any immediate danger anymore, and Father would be safe too. Even if she was caught, nothing could be traced back to him. Father had no vested interest in releasing Neil. Even if he did lose his job, he wouldn't lose his life. Dizziness threatened to overcome her. Chaya squeezed her eyes shut and tried to block out the pain. They would find her. It was over. No. Her eyes flew open. She wasn't a quitter. Chaya hauled herself up into the walled garden. The green was quiet with no one in sight. The servants must have left their positions and gone to the front, drawn in by all the chaos. Chaya stood up and ran. A searing pain shot through her leg all the way up. It was no use. She was in too much pain. This was it. They would find her here eventually. And then in the distance, through a blur of pain, Chaya saw her getaway vehicle. She hobbled up and untied the chain from the post. Black spots swam in front of her eyes as she scrambled up and felt the calming, gentle sway take her off to find Neil. That's it for chapter 14. I hope you enjoyed it. It will be chapter 15 next time. Goodbye.